Broadcasting from Boston, Massachusetts. You're listening to the Technology Equals Equality podcast.
Hey, welcome back to the Technology Equals Equality podcast. I'm your host, Lori Brooks, and this is episode 65. Joining us today with a delicious alternative to the traditional sugary snacks some women tend to crave each month, Tania Green, founder and CEO of PMS Bites. Tania was born and raised here in Boston, Mass., and she developed an entrepreneurial spirit at an early age while assisting her mom in a busy shop on Newbury Street. Having slayed the Shark Tank on CBS, Tania has joined the techie community for episode 65 to share her journey with you. Tania, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course, happy to be here. So we would love to know a story of how it is you once saw the future, long before the thought of PMS Bites ever hit your thought process, long before you thought about an entrepreneurial journey. Think back to high school, elementary school. What was it that you thought you would be doing in the future?
Well, I think the best example is in high school. I really bloomed in high school in terms of my self-confidence. I went to an all-girls. I was privileged enough to go to an all-girls high school, and in that arena, you don't really worry about how you look and competing with other girls or boys. It's very based on learning as much as you can, challenging yourself as much as you can, and really forming some awesome relationships with your female friends. So I had that luxury and was able to be really creative. I was class president and took that job very seriously to the point where I thought, okay, I love managing projects and creating events and making people feel like every day is a celebration, and what might that translate into? So I dabbled with a couple of ideas. Wedding planning was one, event planning, and what I realized was I didn't know what I was passionate about, but I knew that I had innate skills to kind of run the show, plan everything out, get very detailed, but also have the ability to go higher level and figure out a strategy that makes sense. And so all of those skills for me came very naturally, as well as relationship building. So I loved going out into the community, letting people know what was going on, what we were doing, and figuring out how they could be a part of it and how it could serve their business needs as well as my overall strategy. So I learned that pretty quickly in high school. My mom also had a spa on Newbury Street in Boston, so from a very early age I learned customer service and how to help people when they're feeling frustrated, how to make people feel really special, and I just cultivated those skills very early on, and that's definitely helped me with my journey as an entrepreneur.
You know what I've noticed? A lot of female entrepreneurs that I've spoken to have grown up with a mother who was an entrepreneur and ran their own business, ran their own practice. And despite whether or not the industry is the same, I think a lot of young females who grow up with entrepreneurial moms kind of tend to veer towards managing and developing their own practice. That, or that's just wishful thinking on a mother's part.
I want your children to be able to kind of create their own world and
Right.
what they're passionate about and run their own ship.
Right.
And that can be within a corporation. I mean, one thing that I learned coming into entrepreneurship is that you don't have to start your own business. You can be entrepreneurial in a corporate setting. Obviously, it's very different. You could pioneer a program that exists within a company and really spearhead it and use your skills to make your program and the company succeed. So I think that there's lots of different entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship for me has always been people's agenda getting in the way. So that's always been what I like. But I think there's multiple forms of it.
I think that probably comes a lot, like you said, from having gone to an all-girls school, gaining those leadership abilities and understanding the concept of developing that strategy for yourself. I think it was something that realistically came naturally to you, but you're correct in the fact that it can come naturally to people, and you can act on that entrepreneurial drive regardless as to what the current situation is. You can definitely take it in other avenues aside from just attempting to build out your own practice. So no, you're correct. Like I said, I think that's just mother's wishful thinking. So when you decided back in high school that you kind of wanted to steer your own ship and take that course, what were some of the first steps that you took? I know you mentioned you started off with other ventures such as wedding or event planning. I started off in real estate. I completely understand the concept of that journey, starting off in an industry completely not where, you would think it would kind of blossom out to. So what do you think were some of those first steps that you took when you did decide you wanted to go ahead and begin branding yourself that helped you kind of launch your entrepreneurial journey?
Well, before PMS Bites, probably about 6 months before, actually may have been a year before, I was actually in a relationship at the time, and I was working. I think at the time it was a nonprofit research and consulting firm. I've worked at a couple of consulting firms, so I believe it was the nonprofit one. And I was in a relationship, and my significant other at the time was extremely sick, and I had meetings booked back to back, and I just wanted to get chicken soup and NyQuil, anything that he might need, to him within the hour, but I just couldn't do it. And that really upset me because I really value the relationships in my life, and I'm a natural hostess. I like to make people feel good and comfortable. And I thought maybe there's a delivery service that could get care packages to people within 1 hour. That would be like a guaranteed delivery. Sort of like an Instacart before Instacart. And I had no idea about Instacart before that. And obviously this idea was very narrow and targeted because it would be a care package for someone who was sick. But it was an Instacart sort of idea. And I was probably really pumped up for this idea for about a month. And I went hard. I started researching everything that I might need and the amount of money that I might need, and would people actually want this? And the way my brain works, I can't actually look at a computer and develop a strategy and write it out on a Word document. I have to hang up, gargantuan, huge Post-its on my wall and, write it out like a mad woman. And I really focused on it. And then after about a month, I started to lose steam. And I think I lost steam because it wasn't something that I was truly passionate about. Like, I liked the idea, but I didn't feel like I was put on this earth to do it. And I think that that's what separates, an idea from something that actually launches and takes off. You have to have that passion behind it. Some people are financially motivated by an idea, but I also think that it becomes very clear who those people are when you talk with them. And in my experience, investors and people who can help you along the way, which we all know is critical, get way more jazzed about the person who is actually passionate about it, because your enthusiasm will then just exude out, and people thrive off of that. I mean, if you think about day-to-day living, there are so many people who kind of walk around like zombies, right? They're not happy with their job. They wake up, they do the normal routine, they live through the weekend, they go crazy on the weekends because they just gotta let the steam out, and they're not really being fulfilled by what they're doing. And my theory is that, 80% of, not 80%, 8 hours of your day is a significant amount of time, and life is short. And I don't want to be a zombie. And I think that the people around me, even when I was starting, or thinking about other ideas, the people around me got really excited by my passion. And that's what sort of set me apart from other startups, other entrepreneurs, and really helped me advance. Because I don't have an MBA, I don't have a traditional business background. I have my master's, but it's in communication management. And a lot of people would see that as a setback or a disability of sorts. But for me, I used it to my advantage. And many times people would say, you're a breath of fresh air, because you're not saying, yep, Harvard MBA, going into tech, developing an app, et cetera, and while everyone has a purpose, and that's great if you do have an MBA, I don't mean to diminish it in any way. People who don't have it shouldn't see it as a setback or a disadvantage. It's something that if you spin it right, you can actually use it to benefit.
I tell my clients that passion creates purpose. And from purpose, you can develop an actual plan. But before you have the passion for anything, it's really difficult to think about any sort of marathon stretch of committed work towards anything. And I like how you were explaining that you spent that month of really researching and delving into whether or not this Instacart type program would actually be fruitful, and you were excited, but there wasn't a realistic passion behind that. I like how you define the difference between the idea versus a passion. I think it's very true to longevity of any practice. What do you feel was the most difficult thing for you to overcome during this journey of building out PMS Bites, be it your Shark Tank experience? What do you feel was the most difficult piece for you throughout the journey of building PMS Bites?
Yeah, and it's not past tense, right? It's something that I'm going through right now. I happily talk about past tense problems, because I figured it out, and I can, talk about lessons learned, and I can show people, I had this problem, and I worked my way through it, and how great is that? But I'm not going to go there. I'll stick with what I'm struggling with now, because I think that's more helpful for people to actually hear the struggle in my voice and the vulnerability, right? And I think that it's the constant self-doubt of when you get a no, right? When you've planned for something and you've prepped as best as you can, and then you hear a no, whatever it might be, whether it's an investor or it's a retail deal or anything that you really worked for, it's hard not to have the wind sucked right out of you.
Right.
Because you've got a limited amount of runway and a limited amount of time, a limited amount of energy for it. And it feels like the world is crashing in. And when it's your baby, when it's something that you've developed and you're proud of it and many people love it, and you hear that no, it's hard not to take it personally. It's like, your kid not getting accepted into a music program. You're like, wait, but she's Whitney Houston practice. So, I just think that hearing the no's is really tough. And you'll hear and see lots of articles of, well, experiences as unicorn experiences and really kind of settle in with reality and definitely don't wallow, but recognize that, yeah, getting kicked in the stomach isn't fun, but you got to get back up. But I think that constant sort of thinking can really work against you. What I try to do is stay positive as much as possible. I meditate. I look back on all the experiences. That's why, doing shows like this is really helpful, because you can go back to the beginning when I basically said, nothing's going to stop me. Regardless of whether or not you say no, somebody else will say yes. And that tenacity is what gets you ahead. And that requires a lot of energy. But nonetheless, it's pretty powerful. And I actually, applied that to when I was raising capital. So I met my dream investor 1 month into my business, which is kind of rare. A lot of people, it takes time to find the right person who you feel like will advance your business, who won't screw you over, who has your best interest in mind, and who can actually add value to your company.
Right.
And a month in, I went to a dinner party, and quickly I realized that I was sitting at the dining table of the founder of Stacy's Pita Chips.
Nice.
And he's based in Boston, and he sold a company to Pepsi Cola, and built up from scratch as a food cart, and then completely sold it, and it's in every grocery store imaginable, right?
Right.
And in that moment, I realized this is somebody who has connections, who is very passionate about food. He's passionate about mentoring entrepreneurs, and I knew I was too early, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some people would go, yeah, I'm too early, or maybe I'll call him in 6 months when I'm ready. But I asked him for advice. There's this saying in the entrepreneurial world: if you want money, ask for advice, and if you want advice, ask for money. And I decided that I was going to prove to him that this was a viable business, and sat down and learned everything about the story. And then anytime there was an update, a PMS Bites update, whether I got into Mass Challenge or got into Forbes or Shark Tank contacted me to actually apply for the show, I constantly updated him. Hey, this is what's going on. And he would reply, that's amazing. Let me know if you need any help. And then, of course, I would say, okay, I have these 3 questions. Help me with this. And he would, and he became accustomed to talking with me on a regular basis and was curious about how the business was going. And then it was time to pitch him. It was time to say, okay, I've done this amount of sales. I'm about to go on to Shark Tank. What do you think? And he said, no. And I was like, okay, that's all right. No worries. And then I kept on updating him over and over and over again, and remained a part of his world, and was very tenacious. And then I asked him again, and he said no. And that was a kick to the gut, definitely. And I thought, I really thought it was going to happen this time. And then I had one last meeting with him, and I said, our values align. He's very much into health food, gluten-free, vegan, all natural. He likes to take care of himself and his body and respect his body, and wants everybody to kind of have that same outlook. And so I said, I would be remiss not to offer this opportunity. And he said, you're right, you would be. I'll consider it. And he called me, and then he said no. And literally, and I was so upset. I didn't respond. I was
Nice.
Amazing. And I think that hearing those no's made that yes far sweeter, right?
Yes.
And it was really about being um, just staying on top of it as much as possible and being in communication and not giving up that really set that apart for me.
That is absolutely awesome. And I'm just going to take us kind of back for a minute. I want to start off with the fact that I thought it was hilarious that you not only referenced Whitney, but you referenced classic Whitney. Love that. So there is a difference. I just had to respect that for a second. but I love what you were saying. And one of the things that I often say here on the show and often tell my clients is that there's no such thing as failure. There's only feedback. You called that, I believe, the unicorn experiences. Those moments that you're just kind of out there and dealing with this piece that didn't work out exactly the way you thought it would, or the way you had planned or prepared. Because, like you said, it's your baby. You've been working on this forever, and it's difficult to hear someone tell you over and over again that it's not going to happen. It's difficult to continue moving forward and having that perseverance to believe in yourself and know. And again, I feel very strongly that it boils back to that passion. That passion will give you that drive and that perseverance, and that it can wipe out that self-doubt that you may carry with you simply based off of the fact that you understand wholly why it is you're doing what you're doing. And once you have the time, or I should say, take the time to figure out that why, that passion for yourself, it really does change things. And that's what I, like you had mentioned, I feel like that realistically was what carried you in those moments, as he continually said no, until you had the opportunity to create an impact for him, an experience that he was able to witness firsthand, that then propelled you into that yes, which, like you said, failure is feedback, but when that yes comes along, it's a beautiful thing. And it's so worth every second of the effort, the time, the energy that you put into the project from there on. And I think you captured it well. One of the questions that I was going to ask you was what you felt it was that carried you. And I think the positive mindset, despite the fact that I think you feel that it was the most difficult piece, I think it's also a piece that's helped to carry you through this. Tania, what I'd love for you to do is kind of give us a little bit of insight into PMS Bites as a whole, where you came up with the idea and how it realistically helps women across the board. I know they can check you out on pmsbites.com, but I'd love for you to share just a little bit about the product with the audience, please.
Yeah, so I live in the north end of Boston.
Mm-hmm.
I would get debilitating PMS symptoms starting at age 11.
Ouch.
So I'd be in the nurse's office for, a couple of hours
Right.
each month.
Right.
And I didn't really understand that it wasn't, that it really was PMS until I started recording how each of my days were going. So I set a New Year's resolution probably 5 years ago, and I said, I'm going to tick off on the calendar good, medium, bad days. And what I started to notice is that most of my bad days were around my PMS time. Because, every woman records when her cycle is.
Right.
We keep track of these things for various reasons. And I just started noticing this trend and was like, oh my gosh, I'm not feeling good consistently between 7 and 10 days each month.
Right.
And that's a lot of time out of your month to feel vulnerable, angry, sad, bloated, whatever it might be. And for me, although I haven't been diagnosed by a doctor because I'm a little afraid to be diagnosed, but I think I have a more extreme version of PMS, PMDD. Okay. And that's where you just aren't able to function.
Right.
And so I moved to the North End, and what I started to realize is that I would crave brownies at Mike's Pastries. And most of the month I would eat very healthy and really didn't have a sweet tooth. But during PMS time, I would run down there and, cut the tourists and scream out, "You don't live here!" and get out of the way. He just knew to throw a brownie at me there. And I was like, well, this is just it can't be healthy to consistently go down to Mike's, and it doesn't align with my health goals. And I started to do some research on chocolate or desserts that are a little bit healthier, and found a couple of things that I liked, and then created my own version. So instead of using butter, I used like brown rice syrup to kind of give it a better texture, and started to experiment in my kitchen and made these bites that I originally called PMS balls. My mom would call and she would be like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Like, I'm making my PMS balls. I need chocolate now. And I later realized you really can't market balls, so I changed it. But it really started because of my need. And as I started making them more and more, I also researched herbal properties that could help with bloating and cramping and irritability, my main symptoms, and decided to combine the two.
Mm-hmm.
Then my friends and my family started ordering them, and I decided, I'm actually really passionate about this. This PMS affects my life so much. It affects the lives of so many women. I'm passionate about helping women optimize their time and their relationships and their bodies, and I can really get behind this. So I did more research on herbs and came up with a blend that I incorporated into the bites, and they're delicious. They a lot of people describe them as like a rich, dense brownie. Other people will say, "Oh, it's just the right amount of sweetness for me." Other people will pick up on the date flavor that's used to sweeten them. So everybody sort of has a different experience with them.
Yep.
And I think that's what makes them so interesting. They're gluten-free, they're vegan, they're all natural and chocolatey. I have 3 flavors: coconut, pecan, and a cocoa powder.
Nice.
And they're just 80 calories a bite.
I see.
And they really do satisfy you during that time where you crave sugar.
Right.
And sugar really is the worst thing that you can eat during that time, because obviously sugar makes you feel good in the moment, but for multiple reasons, you feel sluggish and guilty later on, and that doesn't help with anything. Sugar releases or increases your blood sugar levels and then leaves you crashing later.
Right.
And then adrenaline is released into your bloodstream, which is the last thing you need when you're already feeling irritable. And so the whole premise behind PMS Bites is it sucks that we crave sugar during this time.
Yes.
But it is the worst thing that you can fuel your body with. But there are healthy alternatives that can help with that sweet craving. And I'm positioning this product as that healthy alternative.
I love that. It's a healthy chocolate that actually makes you feel better. I don't think you could have created more of a dream come true for most women on the planet than you did. So again, kudos. Brilliance. I mean, you really took the time to do serious self-reflection, understanding your own needs, what it is you were suffering from. You took that and mixed in a little creativity, had some fun experimenting at home, but recognized that through that creativity, you had come up with a product that was not just serving your need, but the need of many, many, many other people in your own close-knit circles, and that the fact that you could take it far beyond that. And I think your aha moment of balls versus bites was great. That is that's one of the best aha moments I've heard. I love it. But I think the development of it really came from, like you said, again, understanding your own passion, understanding your why, understanding what it was you were really looking to create, and having the need that drove you to fulfill that passion, and to fulfill the creation of it for not just yourself, but for plenty of other people. Because, I mean, it very well could have just remained an awesome recipe in your own kitchen, but you blended it with your background and your history and entrepreneurial drive that you had already had from a very young age, to then kind of blossom from there. And from what seems like an overnight success to many, which most businesses, once they become a success or success in the public eye, seem like they came out of nowhere. And part of the show is to kind of show that journey. Your journey did not start the day you went on Shark Tank. It was years and years and years in the making of kind of testing and experimenting on not just PMS Bites, but your entire entrepreneurial journey, from event planning, wedding planning, and so on. I think that's an outstanding story of how you created it, and I am looking forward to ordering a couple of boxes. I will be doing so in a couple of minutes, and I'm excited to test those out. And I will definitely be, sharing reviews, and I'll touch base with you and let you know how much I'm enjoying. And so, because I know many women who could really benefit from this, because I think it's extremely beneficial for women across the globe to understand and know is an available alternative to other methods that they may use right now when it comes to PMS control. Tania, we have this time machine that we'd love to have you have the opportunity to kind of go back a couple of years and think about what it is. If you could tell yourself one thing without creating an absolute ripple in the universe, what do you think that one thing would be?
I wish I had learned earlier that self-doubt is a momentum killer.
Yes.
It doesn't propel you forward,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't solve anything. And that everybody experiences this.
Yes.
And the difference between the people who stand still and the people who move forward is the people who move forward don't care. they recognize that everyone goes through it, and what's going to differentiate them from everyone else is pushing forward,
Right.
and not listening to the doubt. That for me has always been something that I've grappled with. It's definitely deeply rooted, and it's almost like there has to be that drama in order for me to. I mean, eventually I do move forward. That is my personality. I'm never gonna sit still. But the amount of time exploring the self-doubt and wallowing in it takes away from the momentum and takes away from the impact. And so even though I do have impact and I eventually get there, I wonder what the journey would be like if I didn't. And so this is something that I would tell myself earlier on, and this is something that I remind myself every single day, because I don't want to have to be in the same situation in 15 years and
Right.
say, I should have listened to my 30-year-old self, right?
Right.
So it is my cross to bear in this world. I think being aware of it and labeling it and having people around you who encourage you
Yes.
Is the way to overcome it. So
definitely a supportive community can definitely be key in assisting in squashing that self-doubt. But I think even more so is what I think you demonstrated more so than anything throughout your journey is that faith in yourself. Squashing that fear with the faith in yourself to organize, to strategize, to create is key to having that ability to kind of squash that self-doubt, despite the fact that it does actually pop up all the time throughout the journey, no matter how far along the journey someone might be. So definitely the show is really designed to help entrepreneurs come up with ideas to solve the pain in an industry that they may not have really been thinking of. And, PMS Bites is a chocolate treat, but it's also, a health food, but it's also kind of a medicinal effect for PMS management. It's a completely new industry that you've kind of opened up for yourself here, and we would absolutely love to be able to help you. So we're curious, if in fact you had a magic wand and could change anything at all in your business, Tania, what would it be and why?
so PMS Bites was my initial business idea when I took it from my kitchen and then I wanted to start it. I was approached to include cannabis in the product.
Yep.
And that is obviously a growing industry. It's legal here in Massachusetts for medical purposes.
Right.
And I was terrified to do it. One, because it wasn't how I used PMS Bites, right? So it didn't feel authentic to my story. But I think that the market is growing. It's an interesting field. It is a far more lucrative field than food itself.
Right.
Food entrepreneurs struggle all the time because of margin. So even if your sales are fantastic, margin is always an interesting battle.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that cannabis could be a new wave. I wish that I had learned a little bit more about it, but I'm actually exploring it with a couple of different companies, and I think that starting earlier would have been more interesting, but I don't regret it. I think that the lesson here is to keep your mind open to every possibility, and when you fear something, don't let it stop you. Explore more.
I love that. You're looking to possibly add a new line or different formulas and develop a different change kind of to the PMS Bites as a product, or is this a new product that you're thinking of creating?
No, it would be the same formula that exists now, but cannabis would be included.
Okay.
So that people who were interested in that could have it. Now, obviously, there are many people who are not interested in that, and I would keep my existing lines open because I believe in my product and it works. But I think it's the wave of the future. I really do, and I would be myopic to not consider it. I want to be Netflix. I don't want to be Blockbuster.
That was a great reference there. So thank you for bringing up Blockbuster. No, but I completely agree with you that, having fear of expanding into new markets, it may be something where instead of having a fear, it's far wiser to take the time to do a little research and understand the industry and the market and how beneficial, the ROI of your even taking the time to research it would be prior to saying yay or nay when making that decision. So that's interesting, and hopefully you'll have the opportunity to connect with the right vendors and people to assist you in making that new line a reality. Tania, you've been absolutely lovely. I thank you again for joining us today. Please share the best way for our listeners to find you.
www.pmsbites.com. And I'm a big Instagram user too. So would love to connect. And I'm happy to provide a 10% discount to your users. We'll figure out a way to get that promo code to them so they can try out PMS Bites and let me know what they think.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. I will be sure to link to all of that through the show notes page. And again, you've been absolutely awesome, Tania. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Tania, thank you again for joining us. We truly appreciate you sharing your expertise and your journey with our community. And Techie community, if you or someone you know, your mom, your sister, your cousin, anybody you know that's really struggling with PMS symptoms, be sure to head on over to pmsbites.com, or you can always reach Tania through our show notes page at technology-equality.com/Tania Green. Thank you again for joining us here for episode 65, everyone. And until our next episode, when we continue to hear the journey, find the pain, and create solutions, enjoy the week.